talking about maternal narcissism. This is actually a fairly common situation that counselors see in clinical work. So narcissism is a personality construct. We see that includes characteristics like being self-centered, a sense of entitlement, requiring admiration. We have a grandiose type where somebody is socially dominant, extroverted, arrogant, and resistant to criticism. So the first characteristic of a narcissistic mother is diverting the conversation to themselves. So the daughter wants to talk to the mother about a problem the daughter is having, and somehow the conversation becomes about a problem that the mother is having. The mother's problem is always more important, more serious, worse, and sometimes even caused by the daughter. This is also fairly common. So the daughter says, "I'm having trouble focusing, getting things done. Life is hectic." And the mother says, "I know the feeling. It's exactly how I felt when I was raising you, because you would never listen. You always wanted to do things your own way." So the daughter was looking for support or advice, not criticism, but criticism is what she found. So there's this sense on the part of the daughter, how did this conversation even get here? The second sign is competing with the daughter. We see this expressed in a lot of different ways. They compete for the love of the daughter's father, right? So the narcissistic mother's husband. There is a sense that the daughter will never be good enough for the mother, or as accomplished as the mother, right? This sets up this competition. The mother treats the daughter as if the daughter is inferior. The third sign is the mother makes the daughter feel as if the daughter is a burden and really should have never been born in the first place. And I think this is a particularly cruel and damaging characteristic of the narcissistic mother, and unfortunately it's also a very common characteristic. Sign number 4 is a failure to protect the daughter from another harmful individual who mistreated the daughter. And sometimes this goes as far as the narcissistic mother actually protecting the person who is causing the harm. This also seems to be extremely common with mothers who are narcissistic. They really don't care if the daughter's being mistreated, or in a sense they enjoy it. They believe it's just because now the daughter is being punished for being such a bad daughter. So just like really all of these signs, it's very cruel. It's a cruel and merciless characteristic of the narcissistic mother. The fifth sign is emotional unavailability. So the narcissistic mother doesn't want to talk about emotions. Something else I see, which is kind of related, is the wrong kind of emotional availability, like making too much of the daughter's emotions. So the daughter says something like, "I'm angry and hurt by what this other person did." And the mother says, "You may be dangerous or violent. I always knew you had that in you. I could never really trust you." So in one sense, it does the same thing as being emotionally unavailable, in that the daughter doesn't want to keep approaching the mother about emotions. The daughter doesn't want to talk about her emotions because things get all twisted around in the mother's perspective. Essentially, with this sign, we see no validation, invalidation, or very little validation of feelings. So sign number 6 is being controlling and manipulative. So we see this through guilt trips. We see a lot of drama when the daughter doesn't meet expectations. Like, for example, if the daughter gets in minor trouble at school, the mother might say, "I'm hurt, disappointed, shocked, or disgusted." So really just blowing something relatively small way out of proportion, and again, making it about themselves. We also see a look of disappointment, sometimes instead of a clear statement. Just a stare or a look of profound disappointment. Again, meant to be manipulative, not authentic, not genuine. The seventh sign of narcissistic mother is this idea of a debt that cannot be repaid. So what this means is the narcissistic mother sacrificed tremendously to have a daughter, and in doing so really incurred this debt that can never be repaid by the daughter. She wants the daughter to be impressed by this sacrifice, and if the daughter is not impressed by this sacrifice, the daughter is ungrateful and again a disappointment. Sign number 8 is that the narcissistic mother gives approval, or in a sense love, as a reward for doing what she wants. This means that there's no unconditional approval or love. It's all based on the performance of the daughter. And I think some would argue that really conditional love is not really love at all. Now, the ninth sign of a narcissistic mother really has to do with boundary violations. So searching the daughter's room, reading the daughter's diary. providing the daughter really no privacy and a lot of judgment. Another part of this would be complaining about the daughter to other people with the daughter present. Again, a boundary violation. So really, by putting the daughter down in front of others, the narcissistic mother can be destructive because, quite understandably, daughters believe their mothers. In general, children believe their parents. Even though sometimes there's really no evidence to support this. There's no requirement for parents to be logical, reasonable, or rational to have children. That psychopathology, to some extent, was caused because we believed our parents. But that's kind of what people think, that their parents must know better. Another part of this is when a mother fails to provide something, a child would not be aware of what that is. We don't know what we don't know. What the narcissistic mother wants a daughter to believe is that the daughter is worthless, not good enough, that the daughter is there to meet the needs of the mother, that the daughter is a failure. To the extent that the daughter fails, it is the daughter's fault. And the extent that the daughter succeeds, the mother takes credit or just denies that the daughter was successful at all. So the daughter of the narcissistic mother is led to believe it's your fault that your mother is displeased with you. The daughters of narcissistic mothers struggle in certain areas, right? We see certain characteristics. Shame, anger, not trusting oneself, like not trusting one's inner voice, a feeling of uncertainty, feeling incompetent, feeling hypersensitive, and difficulty setting healthy boundaries. So if a daughter had a narcissistic mother or has a narcissistic mother, what can they do about it? Well, I think the only advice here really is to seek counseling, to build confidence in the validity of their own feelings, to acknowledge that the mother, and in essence, failed you in the worst possible way by making you think it was your fault. Another question I get here is, should the relationship be terminated? Should the daughter cease any contact with the narcissistic mother? I'm not sure that a relationship like the mother-daughter relationship, or really any parent-child relationship, can ever be terminated in the truest sense just through not having contact with the parent. Just because there's no contact, that doesn't mean that the relationship is truly ended. The effect of a mother-daughter relationship can persist beyond the absence of contact, beyond death even. I've seen this so many times. A daughter is struggling to find peace with the relationship even when the mother is no longer here. The feelings are just as painful as when the mother was alive.